Hello, Ken Spriggs here with another video. This time, this is a shorter video. Last time I said it was shorter, and I think it was over 30 minutes, so sorry about that. It's actually like a part 1.5 of the last video where I showed hanging my Discovery on the wall and wall mounting it. So continuing with that same part, I had one more kit, which I mentioned, which was the Moebius space clipper, and I'm adding that to the display as well, and I think that turned out really cool. So that'll be the only other model right now until I finish more models, which I'm working on, of course, and so then I'll get back to showing videos of model building. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so I'm going to hang my display for my Moebius space clipper up onto the wall like I did the Discovery. This is my original display, and this is the first time that I did the curved brackets as I described in my previous video. So all these really are, these are two clear acrylic. Well, one's black on the back because I painted it, but they're two clear. They have 4 little magnets, one in each corner on each one, so that they sandwich together and you have a picture in between. So I took them and I used some 5-minute epoxy, and I got these metal brackets and I painted them black, obviously. I glued them on and painted them black, painted the back black. So it's kind of weighty, but it does have a cool effect. Then I had this graphic printed out with the space station and the Earth, and you can see it's giving a reflection. But then I glued the stand that came with the kit onto here in a position where the ship was going like this. It looked really cool. I did win a bronze award at Wonderfest for that entry last year. So showing in the last stills, I had this graphic reprinted because I had it still, the picture of it. I had it pre-printed in a flat form because this one's a little bit glossy. And then I used the same process that I did with the Discovery, and I put it in a frame, and I have that hanging up on the wall. And I wanted it to be flat like the one is up above it, so it's not giving off any reflections and kind of ruining the effect. So I centered it underneath the Discovery and got it all attached. So now what I'm working on is I took this off, and I did notice something, and it kind of bothers me. The 5-minute epoxy I used has yellowed on here. It doesn't always do it. Only in a few times have I seen that happen. It's kind of weird. I don't know why that is. It's the same stuff that I always use. So it kind of concerns me about using it for some applications, because this isn't that old. I mean, it's about 2 years old, but it's already yellowed. I don't really like that. But I broke this off, and then I cut off the tip part that's sort of a little notch, and it goes up inside this here to attach it, because it was the best way to go about doing that. So let me show you what I ended up with. All right, so I started with the same support that I used for the Discovery, printed it off, but I took that piece. You can kind of make it out now. I painted it black, but it's just a piece of clear plastic, and here's the little notch that goes inside. So it goes up in, and it kind of clips up into the ship. And I had to fiddle with it a while and get it in the right position to where it was going to be when it's hanging. and then I attached it with some 5-minute epoxy. Got a lot of it around there nice and good, as you can see, and it's solid, so it's not going anywhere. And it was tricky to get it just positioned right, so once I got it hardened, it was just a little bit off, so that the wing of the ship was touching the photo. So I took 2 strips of thick styrene and I glued them onto the back of it at the top, so it moved it out a little bit, pulled it away from the picture, and then I drilled some holes in those and painted the whole thing black. So this is ready to go. Let me show you how that clips into the ship itself. Okay, there you go. So it just goes up in and it clips in nicely. So when this is on the wall, sorry, it fell out. Let me just kind of show you. So yeah, it would fall out if you just pulled it up, but when it rests down on it, it holds it in place and it catches into that little notch, which is nice. So it's right there. So that's how it goes in, nice and sturdy. And it'll be painted black. It's painted black, so it'll melt in with the photo as well. So all I have to do is attach that onto the painting, the picture, I mean, on the wall. So one more thing I want to do before I do that is to do something with the lighting inside. Okay, so this kit does have interior and it's lit. I used the Paragraphics photo etch set for the cockpit and for the passenger section. I did some modifications on the passenger section myself, but I showed all this in my original video about 2 years ago on building this kit, if you want to take a look at it. Currently what I have though is I just have this set of 2 AAA batteries and a switch to turn on the lights. And let me just show you here. There's see the controls there for the cockpit. See if I can get in those little windows. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, you can see in there. There's some light in the passenger compartment. Okay, so what I want to do, the Discovery has a remote on it, and at the time I didn't feel the need to do that with this one, but because it's going to be hanging on the wall, I'm going to go ahead and add a new remote for it. So it's a pretty simple process. I get these things from Evan Designs, which is a fantastic company, and they make it very simple to do. So this comes as all one piece. I already have the remote control for it, which works with all of the remotely controlled models that I have, including Discovery. So all you do is you have this this little chip, which will fit inside here nicely. There's a little sensor there. Sorry, it's shaking. So you have 2 wires on one side go to your power, 2 wires on the other side go to your lights, and then the sensor you place it someplace where the remote's going to hit it. In this case, I'm just going to put it somewhere on the bottom of the ship because you're not going to see it, and I can just paint it white. And then that way I can just turn it on remotely and not have to get up there, take the back off. I have the back connected with magnet. I built this little framework, which works really nicely. It fits inside. Sorry again for the sirens. I live near a hospital. I currently get those a lot. I don't live in a high crime area or anything, but all right. So let me go ahead and just, I just have to basically cut this connection from the battery, put this in between, drill a hole for the sensor, put it all together, and I'll be ready to go. All right, so I have it connected. So just make sure to read the diagram, because you have one side of this chip where you have the sensor and the 2 wires for the LEDs, the lights. The other side is the 2 wires going to the power. So it's easy to get those mixed up. If you mix them up, it will not work. I've done that before. So I have the 2 wires on this side that I just put into the power, and all I did, as I showed in the previous picture, is I just twist them together, put some shrink tube over it, just use a lighter to heat it, shrink it. I don't solder it, so I don't have to worry about any of that. I did the same thing with these. Now I took the switch out. I was having a problem with it and it broke off, so I took the switch out. The only value of that would be if you don't want the battery draining the power, you could turn the switch off when you're not using it. Because eventually, with just a straight shot, this will eventually leach off the power from the batteries if it just sits for a long time. I'm not worried about it. It's not something I'm displaying a lot. I mean, it's displayed on my wall, but it's not going to be something I'm going to have on all the time. So if needed, I could always take it out and get the batteries switched out. So, okay. So now all I have to do is put this sensor in a place where it can be reached by the remote control. Where's that at? Oh, it's under here. Sorry. But just to kind of show you how it works. So it has a very good range, and you just have an on and off. You have a dimmer and a brighter, which is cool too. So you just turn it on. You just kind of close up here. And there's the lights. Very cool. There's the lights in the cockpit. It's really hard to see the lights in the passenger. There we go. You can kind of make out there some of the blue screens I have in the front and the lights on the ceiling. So, okay. All right. So all I have to do is just aim this up there and it will turn it on. And also the Discovery as well. So I can turn it off. Okay, very cool. So all I have to do is get that sensor in, and I just drilled a rough hole in the bottom to run it out through. Then I'll 5-minute epoxy it in there and clean it up a bit and paint it. Okay. All right, there we go. So I have it all wired up to the battery. I have the sensor solidly glued in the bottom. I'll just do a little bit of white paint on that. You can see, try to get inside there. You can see inside I have the sensor there glued on the bottom, 5-minute epoxy. There's the magnet in the top. I just have that glued in the bottom, in the top of the ship. That's what connects to that magnet there. And it's a kind of a snug fit, so it fits really nicely. It took me a while to get that engineered. But ready to go ahead and get all the wiring and the battery back inside, put the back on, throw a little bit of white paint, and we'll get her up on the wall and secure that bracket. Okay. All right, and here is the final display for the Moebius Space Clipper. Really happy with how that turned out. I think it looks fantastic. I really like the different incarnations of these models in being displayed and how I've kind of evolved those ideas. But this turned out fantastically. Looks really cool there on the wall. Obviously sticking out. Looking like it's launching. I really like that look right there. It really looks like it's just kind of hovering in midair and you really can't see the bracket holding it up. But fantastic. Obviously there is the bracket, painted black. Holding it up underneath. So I think that looks great. And as I said, I have a remote control. And I can turn that on. Let me see if you can see that. There you go. So there are the lights in the passenger cabin. If I angle it just right. There we go. You can see like a blue screen there. Hold on a second. Sorry. It's hard to get that right angle, but there we go. There's some cool lights. Roof lights. See a little bit of the seats in there. And we have the cockpit. Sorry for the shakiness. Holding with one hand there and getting it close up. All right. I'm really happy with that. I think that turned out fantastically. I really like it with the display of my Discovery. Okay, so that is quite awesome. All right, so that's going to wrap up this video. I am working on some other projects, and I do apologize if I'm kind of jumping around to different things, but things change and alter and things come up, and so my plans change. Obviously, right now we live in some very strange times, so sometimes that's involved, sometimes it has to do with other things that come into play. So I am working on some other builds right now, and certainly going to be updating those here soon and doing some more videos. So stay tuned. Thanks to all my new subscribers, and I will definitely be posting some more exciting videos. Thank you.